Here we go then. So, hello everyone. The purpose of this video is to basically give a roundup of what I think of the 701. So, I've had the bike about a year now, coming up to 3,000 miles on the clock. So I thought I'd just give a rundown of how I'm finding it. Still whether I'm happy or not that I made the switch from the Norden to the 701. Probably just a quick overview of what I've changed, what I would change, what I would do again or perhaps not do, just to give you guys an idea of how I'm getting on with it. So yeah, like I say, 3,000 miles on, or just under 3,000 miles on the clock now, and so far I've had no problems with the bike whatsoever. It's been absolutely mega. Things that I didn't like initially was no wind protection. I have to do quite a few road miles to get to the lanes that I'm riding. The fact I had no wind protection with the standard headlight when you're sitting at sort of 70 on the motorway, it's not comfortable at all. So obviously the carbon fox tower completely, well, not completely eliminates it. You can't ever completely eliminate it unless you're going to ride in a bubble, but eliminates a lot of the wind buffeting. This does a very good job at sending the airflow around you. Also does a very good job at keeping rain off you when you're sitting on road sections. When it's raining, keeps the worst of the water off your chest. So that's another bonus to that. So yeah, wind protection was one thing I didn't like. The other thing that I really struggle with, I'm 5'8", and the height of this bike as standard is so tall. As you can see, this is lowered, so I fitted the Kuba link. So if you look back on some of my videos, I think I did an install video on that. I've not really spoke about that since, so I'll touch on that briefly. So I dropped it, I got the 1.25 inch drop. I think that's the KTM 8-1, something like that, off their website. It's a nice height for me now. The main reason for lowering it was just for confidence, being able to get my feet on the floor. Initially I sort of hummed and hawed, and I read a lot of things about people saying about geometry, this, that and the other. Well, I'm not a good enough rider to really feel the biggest difference. I think the biggest thing for me is having the confidence in tricky situations to be able to get your feet on the floor and paddle and stuff like that. So for me, 100%, it was worth it. Drop the forks through as well. Part of dropping the forks through was, or to match as such, there wasn't enough room as standard. So one of the plans anyway was to add a steering stabiliser, which I highly recommend. So I used the Vanash bar risers and the Scott steering damper. Once these are fitted, I've got the smaller ones. You've got plenty of room to drop the forks through and play with the ride height that way as well. So I sort of complemented the rear drop with the front as well. And like I say, it's given me a lot more confidence riding off-road. When I first got the bike and was riding it in the standard height, most of the times I was dropping it was when I come to a stop or in a tricky situation where I just needed to dab my foot down and I was so far off the ground, I was like 4, 5, 6 inches from touching the floor. So dropping it down, that has helped. Big thank you to Bike Shore for sponsoring today's video. Bike Shore are one of the UK's leading motorcycle insurance specialists. Bike Shore are really great for people who modify their bikes. Like me, as you can see, I've made quite a lot of changes to the bike. Some quite unique modifications like the rally tower, and Bike Shore are great because you can give them a call and you can talk to them about all the modifications you've made and they'll add them to your insurance policy. I found this a problem in the past with other insurance companies, and Bike Shore have been brilliant about it. If you want to get a quote, there's a link down in the description below, or you can give them a call. Phone numbers on their website. There is a downside to that, obviously ground clearance, but I'm not exactly like jumping over rocks and stuff like that, so that hasn't really affected me. But the biggest thing I have noticed since putting a more aggressive tyre on the rear, so I'm running the D606 rear, which is phenomenal. Night and day difference from the TKC80s as standard. So I still run the TKC80 at the front, got loads of life left in it, so I just don't want to sort of throw something at a new tyre at it when there's loads of life left. But if you've got recommendations for a front to sort of complement the rear, then I'd appreciate that. But since fitting now, I've noticed through big compressions, the tyre, like with a new tyre, is scrubbing the tank sometimes. It's not massively often the riding that I do, but it has been contacting the tank. It is just scraping it. It's not, it's not going to take chunks out of it or anything, but it does, that plays on my mind a little bit. So in the future, now I'm getting more confident off-road and stuff, I will bring it back up, not to standard height, I'll probably bring it up somewhere in between. So I'll probably go for the Kuba link that does 3/4 of an inch drop rather than 1 1/4 inch, just to bring it up a touch. Bit more clearance on the back end. Yeah, that was, for me, if you're a short rider, it is easy to be put off by the height of the seat. Lowering it has helped me massively, so that's always an option. It's fairly straightforward install, so you're not modifying anything, so you can always go back to standard height if you want to. So that was a good upgrade for me. The other thing, the engine, I mean, it is what it is. it's beautiful to ride and stuff. I found it very, very aggressive to start off with when I first got the bike, especially in mode 2, which is your off-road map. I found the throttle very snatchy, very on-off, which is sort of the byproduct of them running so lean from the factory to meet the emissions. So the engine is incredible, the power's lovely, loads of power, more than you'd ever need. Nice and playful on the road as well, on the tarmac, so I do like that, but it sounds like a bag of nails. They all sound like it, so I kind of have learned to ignore it now, but it does, every now and again you'll be riding along, I think, Jesus Christ, this thing about to throw a rod out the front of the engine or something. It sounds terrible, but they're all like it. So far it's been reliable as anything. I am changing the oil every 2,000 miles rather than the 6,000 miles. And I'll be doing the valve clearances probably before the 6,000 mile mark, just for peace of mind. But yeah, the engine's really good, but like I say, the one thing I didn't like from the standard was how snatchy the throttle is. And I have installed the Ray Garage storage box and the foam air filter. I installed that and then had the bike remapped. Purely I wanted it to be running nicely, didn't want it running so lean, and also I wanted to try and tame that throttle response, that initial snappiness of the on-off throttle. Went to my local tuner, Track Electronics. He's done several bikes for me in the past. Went to him and there was nothing, he can't get into the ECU at the moment. I'm not sure if there is anybody who can, but with the 2023 bike he had no option but to add a module to it. So the module that he recommended was the Rapid Bike module. So it's just like a piggyback ECU type thing, runs in line with all your sensors, and then you can tune the box to the characteristics that you want in the bike. So it makes things a little bit more pricey because you've got to buy the box and then pay for the remap. So you know, there's a couple of £100 extra for the box. I think that was nearly 300 quid or about 300 quid, but that was the only option, so that's what we went with. And the difference is night and day. The throttle response, we've richened it up. We've got the air-fuel ratio pretty much through the range, bang on, and it feels really, really nice. Now the throttle response is less snatchy, the on-off throttle, which is really what I wanted. So I can ride in mode 2 now, have the traction control. I ride with the traction control off all the time because I find it too intrusive. Having it map 2, yeah, it's much nicer to ride. Maybe if you're a bit more advanced, that snatchy throttle might even be an advantage, I know. But for me, I found, especially when you're getting tired, like the second half of the day riding, it was just lethal that time. So yeah, it's nice to just curve that back a little bit, have a slightly softer throttle response, and also to know the engine's running spot on. So the other upside to that Ray Garage kit is the storage. It's incredible. The real good upside is what you gain under the seat, which I'll show you guys. I'm sure you've probably seen it before, but the amount of stuff that you can pack in is really, really good. Excuse the filthy filter, that's coming off shortly. So in here, the storage, I've got the Rapid Bike modules at the bottom of all that, which is probably, it's a little bit slimmer than this, but a little bit bigger, and that's velcroed down to the bottom of this, protected. So that's in there. I've got a front inner tube. I've got 2 short tyre levers, one with the adapter for the rear axle. I've got a crutch, which you probably can or can't see, a crutch leg in there which extends and retracts to prop the bike up. Got a little pot of soapy water for helping with tyre changes. I've got a toolkit in there with just about everything you'd ever need. I've got one long, I think it's about 12 to 14 inch tyre lever in there, which helps massively with the changes, and then another little toolkit in there. So, and then I put some microfibers in there as well, so that stores a lot of stuff in there, which is great. Also see with the carbon fox tower, I've also got a rear tube in here. This is where you can fit all your GPS system and stuff. I've just got a waterproof bag in there with a rear inner tube, which is really handy. Carry all the spares I need on the trail, and I haven't got to have the extra bag on the back whilst day-to-day riding, but then with the pairing rack I can still fit my luggage if I decide to do multi-day trips, so that's a really nice touch. So some other changes that I've made, as I mentioned, we've got the Scott's damper on there, the Vanash bar risers, really nice combo, really well made, nice and easy to fit. Made a big difference this has to the head shakes and just general riding. It's a clever bit of kit, works really nicely. As you see behind here, I've got the Oxford heated grips on there, so added these straight away. I have heated grips on every bike now, absolutely love it. People can moan and say you're a wuss or whatever, but I don't care. Having warm hands whilst riding makes a world of difference, especially if you've got bad circulation. It can really help with stuff like that. So yeah, just for comfort, I have the heated grips. Again, cheap, easy to install, work a dream. These are way better. These Oxford ones are way better than the heated grips that I had on the 901, the Norden. I opted for the the Husqvarna heated grips, which was something like 280 quid. These are about 50 quid, and these are way better, much warmer. Rarely ever have them on 100% because they just get so hot. So yeah, they're a really good investment. I really like them. You see on there as well, I've got the quad lock for my phone, so that's on the anti-vibration mount, and the wireless charging head, which is great. So I haven't got to have a cable in the phone, which can sort of have issues with water ingress. So really nice bit of kit. I've had quad locks for years. Just think the quality of their kit is really great. Works really well, so stick to what you know. Yeah, so what else on the bike? As you see, I've added the Outback crash bars. These, to be fair, haven't had too much action. I've done well staying on this, really. But again, peace of mind. They're just going to help protect the radiator a little bit. They are a little bit exposed, the radiators. I've seen people busting them quite a lot. So again, that's just a peace of mind. They do the job. I've got the, again, just protection, because the last thing you want to do is be caught out, damaged cases or radiators, stuff like that. So I've got the RG case protectors, the engine case protectors on both sides. And these, if anything, you can see the scuffing marks on it from your boot. They're just going to stop you wearing through your engine cases and making them look horrible. So I take these off every couple of rides because dirt does get behind them. So I just whip them off every sort of 3 or 4 rides and give it a clean down underneath. Some more Vanash parts, the brake pedal, really nice, much easier, much better size platform to use than the standard ones. Same with the foot pegs, they're a little bit lower, much wider, much more grip in them. These I took off the Norden and had on here, so they're as strong as anything. It's been dropped a lot of times. Got the parent heel guards, just a little bit more robust than the standard plastic ones, and you can also, if you want to tie down stuff on your luggage, they're going to be great. And then I did this. I wasn't really sure if it would get much use for the sort of riding that I do, but the shark fin from Vanash, and that has taken quite a few hits. There's quite a few big marks on the bottom of it, so that's obviously doing its job, even though I'm not riding like hard enduro type stuff. So that's really nice. XP skid plate, everybody knows how good the XP skid plates are. Nice and quiet as well because it's plastic. Yeah, that's mint. That's taken quite a few hits, holding up perfectly fine, which I expected it would because the one on Norden was great. The other bits, mainly everything I've added is just protection. So we've got these carbon guards. I'm a sucker for carbon. As you can see, the Carbon Fox Tower, work of art. And then these are from Vanash, the carbon fork lead protectors. And then up on the top, the Vanash fuel filler. Again, that's more just to try and stop stuff getting in the tank. The standard ones are pretty poorly designed, and the mud gets around the top of the cap when you open up, the potential for it to drop in, so just didn't want that. So yeah, nice bit of kit. I've tethered that to the parent rack, so you're not going to take it off and forget about it. Or if it does come undone, it's not going to go far. So yeah, overall, really happy with the bike. Love riding it. I say, you look back at my other videos of the Norden, I thought that was sort of the perfect compromise. At the time I did think I'd do more road miles, and now I sort of literally only ride road to get to trails. This can smash out road miles. It's not the comfiest thing in the world. I mean, you can get more comfortable seats, but they like the seat concepts, they're so expensive. So for now, until I'm going to plan a long trip, this is absolutely fine. I can sit on the road for an hour and that's fine to see. Wouldn't want to do much more, but you break it up anyway for fuel stops and whatnot. So, and off-road you stand all the time, so the seat's not really a big issue for me. It's probably something that I might change in the future, but just depends on the riding I end up doing. Plans for the bike, there's not much more. Like I said, I might raise it back up at some point. Bike's pretty much where I want it. It'd be nice to do a graphics set on it, just to make it a little bit more unique. Again, just comes down to money. It's not something I really high on the priority list. Yeah, plans now is ride it. Having a tow bar fitted to my car soon, so we can start doing some trips away and stuff like that. Salisbury and stuff is on the horizon soon. I've also entered both the Sweetland Baja rally events. Kind of like endurance, I suppose. A bit of racing on a sort of big loop circuit, so really looking forward to that. That should be cool. I miss racing massively, always miss racing, so just that competitive edge would be nice to get that back, so I'm looking forward to that. If you've got any questions, just let us know. Yeah, I think I try to cover as much as I can in these videos without making them too long. Yeah, if you've got any questions, just fire away. I'll answer them in the comments, or I'll make another video if there's enough questions. I'll do a Q&A and answer them. So check out my Instagram as well, Jim Varner on Instagram. Loads of stuff on there. Always posting bits on my ride and what we're getting up to. So yeah, jump on there and have a look. It'd be much appreciated. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.